wine, wisdom.
Whiskey, wine, and wisdom.
And James.
Welcome to episode 27? 27.
I'm going to go with that. Yeah.
Hey, it's kind of a blur now, isn't it? Hang on one sec, I'm going to just move my little mic over a little bit so it's noisy. That's good. It's aiming at me now. It's a parametric microphone, which means WWW. It means important things.
Cool.
The dog is here. He's in the corner. So it is technically a dogcast, although we shouldn't hear him chewing on his own nails again like some disgusting, skanky... I don't know, he's a dog. It's okay, isn't it? It's a dog.
It makes me cringe though when you're biting your nails or your claws and it's that crunchy. It's like, no.
Yeah, but his nails, it's not like they're sort of thin human nails. That's gross enough, but he's got these big old triangle clonkers, you know, and they're black as well. It's just, they're horrible.
They look like they mean business.
Yeah. He's a little fizzy for burrowing because he's half badger or something. I don't know.
You need to get one of those tests.
Oh yeah, 23andMe, they'll be like, nah. It's like a badger fucked a bratwurst. They're like, nah, mate, it's just, it's all wrong. It's all wrong. So this week, I decided to go for executions because I've done capital punishment before, but this is executions. This is what actually I've done. No, I did punishments as well. There's extreme punishments in the past, but I did capital punishment, but I was going through the ages. This is present day execution, means by execution, and it was fucking grim. It was grim. So I said, Jamesy, you've got to do something to alleviate or counter my grimness. So you know, being the source of brightness, light, unicorns, and rainbows that he is, he went straight for unicorns.
I fluffed up with unicorns because you can't, honestly.
You can't fail there, man. You
No.
know, it was that or gummy bears, and you picked. I think you picked right. You know, you've avoided the ire of Walt Disney, and you can just you know.
If it makes any difference, I was eating gummy bears while I was looking up unicorns.
It does help. It does help. Although we are going to be sued now. Gummy Bears, the show, is Disney, right?
I don't know. I presume so.
I think I'm sure it's a Disney show, but Gummy Bears, the sweet, isn't.
So there must be a lawsuit within that then.
Gummy Bears must exist as a homogenous sort of a vague brand, but then the Gummy Bears, the show, like if I was to sing, you know, dashing and daring, courageous and caring, and sing the whole song,
Yeah.
I would get in trouble. Sorry, I primed you up for that. You already got
Jelly beans.
Yeah. That might just yeah, that might be the way to go.
Yeah.
Licorice your swords. What? Who are the fuck are these for? Everyone likes like two of them, and the rest get thrown away. There's no one that finishes a bag of licorice your swords.
Or if you're me, they don't even get started. You kick them. You kick them far.
Well, mate, there's people who like them, but I don't think. If you like those ones, you know, the big blue or pink ones, the big fat circles.
Yeah.
There's like a sort of coconutty, and there's a tiny bit of licorice in the middle, right?
Yeah.
Those, they're super sweet and nice, and if you like those, there's no way you like the ones that are just licorice.
No.
So that's what I don't understand, because those people aren't the same people. If you like a big blue disc with a tiny bit of licorice in the middle, you don't like just a black cube of licorice. You don't.
No.
I call bullshit.
No.
So they're the Woolworths of the sweet brand, and I feel they should have failed by now. I don't know who's propping them up, but I really feel in the next 10 years or so, they won't be a thing.
No.
I feel like the generation that is imbibing them in big numbers they'll start to fade away, and I think all the demand for them will, whereas their teeth will fall out.
Although, get this right.
Yeah.
I've known this. I've only just learned this hack, right?
Oh,
is
it a life hack?
It's a life hack.
Oh, hello, come on.
What you do if you buy right, licorice all sorts, okay, and then you open up the bag and you go, oh, don't like those ones, right? The hack is just pick off all the shit which ain't black.
Yeah.
Get rid of the black licorice bits that you don't like, and then you got the other bits to eat. That's like having a whole new bag of sweets without having to buy a second bag of sweets. That is my hack.
So, just to be clear on this, right?
Yeah, go for it.
Your hack.
Yeah.
I'm just trying to interpret this because it seems to be. I don't want anyone to think there's a racial component to this because it sounds pretty racist what you just said, right? So basically, your hack, I'm saying it in quotes, is the equivalent of letting Indian people in the country, getting the recipe for curry off them and kicking them out again. Is that what you just said? But with licorice as a sort of allegory for that. Is that what you just said?
No, not at all. It's a hack, innit? It's on TikTok. If you don't like licorice because it tastes shit, have a whole new bag of sweets. All you do is you buy licorice all sorts, right? You just don't eat the licorice bits, eat all the other stuff around it. Hack, whole new bag of sweets.
Just buy a bag of Haribo.
Yeah.
Just buy a bag of Haribo, mate.
Yeah, but that's not a hack though, is it? Because you're not going out of the ordinary of buying something simple, which is an actual conclusion, which is an actual answer to the shit.
Alright, here's my life hack, right?
Yeah,
You're in the sweet aisle, right?
Yeah.
You're leaning forward.
Yeah.
And you're about to grab a bag of that.
Oh yeah.
Then don't.
Yeah.
Then go over to the fruit aisle.
Yeah.
Get a big bag of lovely apples.
Yeah.
Eat an apple.
Right.
And brush your teeth.
Oh, that's a sweet hack.
Boom!
Did you see that on TikTok as well?
I did, mate. I did.
Oh,
yeah.
sweet.
It was ironic, pretentious shithead.
Yeah.
TikTok. Crap talk.
Yeah.
I should call it crap talks.
Crap talks.
Crap talks.
And it's not.
It's obvious life hacks. Really obvious ones.
Yeah.
Like when you brush your teeth.
Have you tried using a toothbrush?
Whoa! I was just hitting my face with my fist. I was just punching myself in the teeth. That was hoping the dirt would come off.
Oh, I know, right? It's like I used to use paintbrushes all the fucking time, right? All the time.
Yeah.
It was the only thing that would get to those spots. And then I thought, what about having a smaller one to get this life hack? Cut down the paintbrush into a smaller bit. Think, fuck, that's like a toothbrush. I'm gonna buy one instead.
Well,
Bam.
I knew how to use a brush, but I just didn't know what kind of brush. Obviously, there's a toilet brush, and it is in the bathroom, so it's right there.
Exactly.
I mean, what are you supposed to do with it?
I
Put it
know.
in the toilet?
Whatever.
And it I just smear the whole thing in what takes one whole tube of toothpaste each time, and I just cover the whole thing and just try and. Oh,
That's life hack.
This is horrible. I don't like this at all.
Yeah.
It's made myself sad.
Cool, you're so born pre-2000. Fucking hell.
I was born 2000 and late, mate.
Yeah.
That's what it is. We're so old, mate. We're so old. We're nearly even older, aren't we?
Yeah. Yeah.
Oh, James. He's
For
about
gospel.
to fall over. James is about to hit a milestone. It's getting dramatic.
I'm about.
Do you want to say anything before? Because tomorrow I won't be able to think anymore.
I'm about to turn 30.
He's forgotten how old he is. He's forgotten. He's mixed up the first number in that age. But
no. My hack is right. You don't say what your actual age is, and you just say what you are. 30, right? And that means you're not that old that you are anymore. Hack, life hack.
So, you lie.
Yeah, I know,
So
right?
You're just going to say you're 30.
Yeah, simple hack.
The thing, here's the downside, right?
Sorry, on TikTok.
Because but you say that it's a life hack. But here's the problem, right?
Go.
And this isn't a critique of you specifically. It's just if I went up to someone and I said, "How old are you?" I'm like, oh, "I'm 32." They look at me and go, "Fuck." Were you in a fire? That's what they'd say, right? They'd be
Whoa.
What happened to you? Do you live in do you work in the mines? What did you? Like, nah, mate, nah. I just say my honest age, and they look at it and they go, yeah, I can see that. And that, honestly, at this point, that's the best you can hope for. Otherwise, you start going around saying you're 30 and you're not 30, they'll be like, ooh, you look fine. Jesus Christ. And then they go, what happened to that? He's 30. I know. He's younger than me.
There's going to be films about that guy.
Yeah. He looks like his skin looks like tree bark. What's going on? That's what they'll say. No, not yet. You got till tomorrow, mate.
Oh, okay.
Tomorrow.
So tomorrow I'm just going to wake up like Groot.
No, you're going to be in a full chrysalis. And you think, oh, I'm in a chrysalis. I'm about to come as a butterfly. Like, no, it's your skin now, mate. All of a sudden, you have to moisturise. You have to. Otherwise, you can't walk. You start fires just by friction with the dry skin.
Oh, chub
Yeah.
rub.
Yeah. You get ashy.
Oh,
It's a thing.
dude.
If I don't moisturise my face after getting out of the shower, like within half hour, I start getting like an auto facelift. My skin starts to just stretch.
Although, saying this, right, there's a certain brand of male care liquids.
I'm not doing that to you. That's fucked up.
No, sorry.
Jesus Christ.
That really came out.
You're so nasty. It's like male jelly. Sorry, go on.
I just didn't want to say the actual brand, but it's named after a certain type of dog. So this brand of
just say it. We're not getting sponsorship either way. Just say it. It doesn't matter.
Although if they hear this, then honestly, so bulldog. Yeah.
Bulldog, yeah. Oh, yeah, okay.
That smells fucking nice, sandalwood, and it's the one that's just supposed to be for the face and beardy stuff.
Mm.
But then I left my
San Francisco?
My links. No, my links Africa, because you get that for Christmas. I left it in my gym bag, and my gym bag was in the back of the car. And I thought, oh shit, I haven't got any shower gel in the bath, so I used the face moisturiser, cleaning stuff. That's supposed to be just for you. I used it everywhere.
You cleaned your balls with face wash?
I went from my forehead to my toes with the whole sandalwood effect. Mate, I smell fucking lovely.
I'll tell you one my little life hack, right?
I've
got under eye serum. Alright, it's male under eye serum. It's by number 9 from my Boots, right?
I've seen that stuff. But
Alright. It's very expensive, right? And I thought, you know what? I'm going to try it elsewhere. My balls have never looked tighter and higher.
I thought I was going to say, what's that? Why is your dog licking my leg?
You could, you could use them like a trampoline. Springboard to the future, mate.
Me lucky bouncy.
Should we do one to spraff? Because it's getting a bit...
Yeah, we're talking about
Whoa.
I lift balls.
Yeah. Well,
yeah.
Just, yeah.
Alright.
Fighting gravity. Alright, ready?
Scissors ready? 1, 2, 3.
Alright. I was paper, he was rock. He loses every time.
There you go, that's got to be...
We're going to make a jingle because it's just so... It's insane. I think you've won twice in 27 episodes. I don't understand. And it's not like there's only 3 I can pick. It's not. I don't know. It was so against statistics. We should get a statistician. We should get a statistician to come on and explain how it's even possible that you've lost this consistently.
When I was young, I used to always pick scissors, but then the scissors would get broken by the rock. So I went to the paper, and then the paper was beaten by the rock. Then. Yeah. So do we have to get someone like Rachel Riley over then to? Okay.
We should probably get Rachel Riley around.
I think that only makes sense if she's.
We've said before to her, haven't we? We've invited her around before.
I think who else we invited? Who's X-Files lady?
Gillian Anderson.
Yeah, we've invited her.
Yeah, we have.
She's still. I don't think she's replied.
She's not RSVP'd yet, but she's she hasn't said no. So I feel like it's a scheduling thing, isn't it? It's a scheduling thing.
I've heard from a good source that she's still on an old Nokia phone, so she's just getting around.
Probably what it is, mate. It's probably what it is. It's just admin. It's just admin. Nah, we'll sort her out.
If it's an old Nokia, it's not going to fucking break, is it? So yeah, she will get back.
She's a sensible lady, Respect that.
Sorry.
She's good.
All
right. Well, I mean,
go on, make me depressed.
I'm going to depress you. We're going to start with a classic, right? This is a form of current... These are all current forms of execution. These are all things that are going on as we speak, potentially, right? So the first one. Hanging. Alright, there's a few different types. There's actually 3 types of hanging. But there's two main ones. Basically, you've got the short drop, which is you fall and then you choke to death, you asphyxiate. And the standard or long drop where you fall over a certain weight and your body weight makes you fall after you break your neck. Yeah. Which is I think after 1873, that was the standard in the UK. They had all these measurements in place based on your weight and your height. So and they have okay, you must be at least this high, the rope must be this long. You had to have a certain amount of fall and you had to be this high off the ground. So they had these adjustable gallows made. But before then, they just had. I mean, back in the day, was it Tyburn rope? They basically have these giant gallows. They were 20, 30 foot up, so everyone fell like crazy distance. But they didn't always have a consistent length of rope. So sometimes you'd fall, but you'd be 20 foot up still, and you would only have fallen 3 foot, and you just choked to death in front of everyone. It was horrible. Let's not extremely about that because it's going to get worse. But anyway, one of the most in use in most countries, still retaining capital punishment. It's still common among countries that still do capital punishment. Usually, most of them do use a calculated drop to cause neck fracture and instant loss of consciousness at least. That's the long or standard drop method. It is currently used by Afghanistan, the Bahamas, Bangladesh, Botswana, Egypt, Gaza Strip, India, Iran, Iraq, Japan surprised me.
Yeah.
Jordan, Kuwait, Lebanon, Liberia, Malaysia, Myanmar, Pakistan, St. Kitts and Nevis, don't know where it is, Singapore, South Sudan, and Syria. The short drop method is still used in Iran. That's the one where you don't break your neck and you just choke to death.
Yeah.
This involves pulling a stool out below the condemned, and the drop is too short to cause neck breakage, resulting in a slower death from strangulation of the rope. It's been common since the Middle Ages, with the first documented description. Sorry, I've auto-corrected that when I typed it. From Homer's Odyssey. Now, unfortunately, I have a bonus method.
Oh, wow.
We're starting with a bonus, right?
Oh, bonus round.
A short drop variant is the Austro-Hungarian pole method, called Vergenwagen. Virgil. I should have practiced this before. Vergelgagen. Literally referred to as strangling gallows, in which the following steps take place. And I've put them by steps, so just bear with me, right?
Okay.
Number 1, the condemned is made to stand before a specialised vertical pole or pillar, approximately 3 metres or 10 foot in height. Number 2, a rope is attached around the condemned's feet and routed through a pulley at the base of the pole. Interesting, right? Number 3, the condemned is hoisted to the top of the pole by means of a sling rung across their chest under their armpits. So they're pulled up a 10-foot pole, they've got a rope around their feet between a pulley at the bottom. You with me?
Kind of.
So they're hanging from the top of the pole now, they're 10 foot in the air on this pole.
Head up. They're not upside down.
Head up, yeah.
Yeah.
So their feet are underneath them and they are tied with a rope around their feet, pulled through the bottom, through this. So, number 4, a narrow diameter noose is looped around the prisoner's neck and then secured to a hook mounted to the top of the pole.
Okay.
Alright. It's getting nasty now, I'm sorry. 5, the chest sling is released and the prisoner is rapidly jerked downwards by the assistant executioner via the foot rope. He pulls it upwards from the pulley, so he pulls his feet, they pull their feet down while their head's up. The executioner is standing behind the platform, approximately 1.2 metres up, beside the condemned. The executioner would place the heel of his hand beneath the prisoner's jaw to increase the force on the neck vertebrae at the end of the drop, and then manually dislocate the condemned's neck by forcing the head to one side while the neck vertebrae is under traction.
So isn't that kind of like the long drop, but done on a short drop scale?
Effectively, they're speeding it up by pulling. So
Right.
they've got you've got the executioner who's standing up right behind the condemned, holding his head and pulling it to one side so the neck breaks clean. It's technically speaking is more humane than some of the other methods because you're making sure it's a instant loss of consciousness, right?
Yeah.
And you've got your little assistant down the bottom who's basically just pulling the rope up super hard so that you're pulled downwards.
Makes sense.
So your gravity is assisted, so you have an incredibly hard force down while the guy's holding your head to one side so that it pops you quick. It's horrible. There's a photo. This photo when I found it originally. There's photos on Wikipedia of just rows of people being executed by this way,
Damn.
and it was used by. It was a Hungarian, but the Czech Republic used it for years up until quite recently. They were using that. It's
I'm surprised.
It's surprising. There's hang on. So I've got. Was that the last bit? Execution.
Hopefully, because what else are they going to do? Step
I put super lame after that one. That was the last bit.
Yeah.
So that is hanging, but it's been done for a time, and it seems to work. Hang on, I think I've accidentally got rid of shooting. Oh no, there it is. Okay, I'll take it off. Moving down. Okay. Lovely times.
Oh.
So bring me back. Bring us back.
Well, if you thought that was bad,
You think that's bad?
you need a cheering up. A unicorn is a mythical creature.
Too magical.
Have you ever seen a unicorn? Neither have I.
Are we doing this?
No.
Okay, I didn't know if that was the whole.
So, unicorns are mythical creatures. Mythical creatures can originate from stories, word of mouth, books, films, and more. They often have magical powers and abilities. They are often mythical creatures like mermaids, gnomes, or vampires, or vegans. No, that's my bit. So, unicorns have blue or purple eyes. Unicorns have one.
They're blue or purple eyes.
Yeah, I tried looking up that bit. I tried looking into it far too much than I should have done. But there's honestly
with green eyes.
there's no rhyme or reason why they have got these things. But that's the unicorns. They don't care.
It's definitely fact. I mean, yeah, it makes sense.
Unicorns have one horn in the middle of their head. Unicorns look very similar to horses. Believe it or not, the main difference is their big horn. It's in the middle of their head. If you've ever wondered what a unicorn horn is called, it's called an alcorn.
An alcorn.
Alcorn. Alicorn.
Alcorn.
Alcorn.
Okay, alcorn. Okay.
Yeah.
Didn't know that. Learning.
So I thought that would be like my introduction to
That's
the
a
beauty.
good foundation.
Yeah.
Cool. All right.
I thought that's like the cock tease of you're about to get some more facts. Honestly, I've got some really juicy. I've got stuff about unicorns on here, but it's going to make yours sound a lot less. It's going to take that edge away. So yeah, you're going to enjoy some of these unicorn shit that I've got coming up.
Oh mate, that sounds beautiful, light and floaty.
Yeah.
Maybe sexy. Sexy?
Wow. You went to...
Yeah?
No.
Oh, okay. Well, don't worry, I got that covered. Shooting. Okay, so. All right.
Yeah.
So, single shot, such as shot to the back of the head, heart, is currently used. Afghanistan, Belarus, China, Democratic, in quotation, Republic of Congo, Ethiopia, Gaza Strip, Libya, Myanmar, Saudi Arabia, Sudan, Taiwan, Yemen, and Russia before the moratorium. But so that is what they would. The idea of like this isn't firing squad. This is literally just they'll go up to you, bang, shoot you in the head. You're getting executed. They do it in a small room. It's just quick, done, not mucking around. And strictly speaking, I should say now, as I've gone through all the different current execution, everyone's trying to do, like especially America, they always try and find these new humane ways to execute people. Shooting someone in the head is the most humane. It just is. It's the most humane way.
The sillet bang. Oh.
It's if you're trying to do this in a closed room, just not quite necessarily quietly, but just like quickly, humanely, shooting someone in the head or heart is just going to be. Anyway, that's shooting single shot like a handgun or rifle. Second method by machine gun. That was standard in Thailand. They would use a machine gun. They had a machine gun. It was considered like a fail-safe. Like they have a machine gun that way, the fucker was dead definitely.
Yeah.
They would aim for a kill shot with the first bullet, but then they would just mow the shit out of you. It was just But fairly recent. I think it was this century they've moved over to lethal injection. Spoilers. But firing squad now. Now technically that is still a possibility in the United States. In certain states, they still use firing squads in some ways. Bahrain, Cuba, Nigeria, North Korea, Indonesia, Oman, Somalia, Somaliland, Tajikistan, Qatar, Uganda, and the United Arab Emirates. Firing squad is still their joint. That's still fun times. And now this other one is supposedly, if you're among excessively powerful weapons such as anti-aircraft guns and various other like high power ordnance. According to various media sources, are practiced in North Korea. Apparently, in Russia, there was a rumor that they were using to condemn people. They were testing large munitions like big shells and rockets and things on them, just to see what it did. But they were, like you're getting executed anyway. Give a shit. Which again is kind of more humane than some of the other frou-frou methods. Like, if you're getting blown up by it's quick. I mean, I don't really want to be blown up. But it's quick.
It's like the whole thing. When he's explaining that, I was thinking, just I'll hold the hand grenade, you hold the pin. If that's the way it has to go, because boom time, you're doing it. I've got
pin list done. Yeah, I mean, I've not really looked into the sort of the morality of execution of those things because it's like I don't know how you feel. Like, just quick aside, right? Do you feel like, execution, capital punishment is a goer, or is it just across the board bad? Because it's actually surprisingly evenly split across the world right now. Even in sort of supposedly like modern, more evolved countries.
So I don't like the thought of it. To be honest with you, But it all depends what it would be used for. So, I nicked a bag of licorice all shorts because I was trying out this hack.
Well, the thing is, I mean, like the what crime it's for. Obviously, that's unnegotiable. Like there are some people who, I mean, there's a huge amount of people who are 100% against it. Just like, no, there should be no. It doesn't matter what crime, people should never be. And for the longest time, I always felt like if you're telling your citizens not to kill,
Yeah.
you can't really kill them.
No.
And I'm like, yeah. But I must admit, in recent years, I'm a bit more pragmatic, and I'm like, some fuckers don't need to be here anymore. Well, they're just like, you know, I've become old and cynical, and I feel like some people just like either don't want to be or can't be, what's the word, rehabilitated. And there's some people that the crimes are so next level. You're like, oh mate, maybe you've used up your chances. Maybe no. And yeah, there's some stuff, and I'm like, but then in that instance, like, I don't see a problem. I mean, firing squads are pretty decent. I mean, the idea of the firing squad was you never know who. Everyone's shooting for the same target.
Yeah.
They've got a target on their chest or their head, and they're all going for the target, and you don't know who get the kill shot because they all fire at once. And it's just like the responsibility is divided at the very least, or is completely negated. So, you know, who killed him? We don't know. There's 6 of us. It could be any one of us, but we all shot him in the head or the heart. So we all killed him, or none of us killed him, or one of us killed him. We don't know which one. So either way, that idea of like the guilt is not on one person.
No.
He's not killed by Jeff. He's killed by the firing squad. So that's the way they do that, and I understand why. But I'm like, I bet there's someone who don't mind killing them. You know.
Yeah.
I don't think that's a problem really. If you're a nice guy, I don't want to kill someone, especially professionally.
No.
But then I'm like, you know, there's some people. I mean, I don't get into the sort of like, you know, retribution and stuff. I mean, like, just as a sort of pragmatic society. You know, it's a society. You know, I'm not saying like that thing where you go down that sort of exercise. You think if they heard me, you know, my people, I'd do horrendous things to them. And like, everyone feels that way. Everyone's a murderer in the right circumstances. But as a society, do you kill people or do you lock them up forever?
If they touch a cat or a dog, then they're going down.
You've got a line. I understand that. I respect that. You don't cross this line. I kind of feel like, I don't know, like there's a point where locking them up forever is less humane than just going boop. If they're never going to get out and they can't be rehabilitated, I mean, you could argue the finances. I mean, it's obviously cheaper just to kill them, but I don't like the whole American system of having them on death row forever. But then, if you're going to kill someone, you have to give them every opportunity to appeal. Yeah, drop your phone. You have to give them every opportunity to, yeah. But, yeah, I'd shoot me in. That was, in conclusion.
Okay.
Boop. But I've got many options of things I would not do coming up. So, something to look forward to.
So
Horn me.
Okay. And then I'll tell you
Let's
if I
get
unicorns.
horny.
So you'll know this one, Dan.
Go on, tell me.
They are Scotland's national animal.
Damn right they are.
Because you've got that little wee bit of a drammy Scotty bit in you. Haven't you?
Okay, undernew.
Aye, look underneath. Did you know that Scotland's nation of the unicorn?
Scotland is free.
Aye. William I was the first royal to use it in the 12th century. It is believed that the mythical creature is the national animal because it's a symbol of purity, innocence, masculinity, and power. Right.
I mean, so you had all these like hard knights going like with like unicorns on their shields, and now it's the most fairy frou-frou thing you can imagine.
No. Because they're masculine. Because they've got masculinity and power. So obviously they fly. They don't. Well, they don't fly. We'll get into that. They shit gumdrops and rainbows, but they're masculine and powerful.
Yeah, they shit them out of their massive balls.
That's it. Massive.
Their horns are just cocks, head cocks, right?
They obviously use the Boots number 9 ball lift.
Taut. Like a crossbow. No, like a. What am I thinking of? You know, Oh God, what is it?
Trebuchet.
like a testicular trebuchet. Yes, that's exactly what I was going for, buddy.
Oh, yeah. But I was quite surprised by that. It's you got a fruit animal. It's fake, but mate, it's pretty. Why not? Why not? Unicorn. They got a spike on their face.
I suppose. I mean,
if I had a spike on my face, I could run at people. You go, out the way, out the way,
out the way.
I wouldn't tell everyone to get out of the way.
Well, they're really horses, or just they like a horse. I mean, are they related to horses?
They look like horses, but that's all I'm going to say now because there might be something about that later on.
Are they skinny rhinos?
That also might be part of one of the things.
Okay, I will shut up. I will shut up.
Okay, so I've obviously brightened up the mood too much. Let's bring it down.
Excellent. All right, sweet. You ready?
Yeah, go on, make me sad.
Lethal injection. I've written quite a bit. Just first used in the United States in 1982. It's more recent than I thought, right?
1982.
82, yeah. Okay. It's since been adopted by China, Guatemala, the Maldives, Nigeria, Taiwan, Thailand, and Vietnam. All right. So typically, this is how it breaks down, right?
Break it down.
And it's, I should say now, lethal injection is fucked. But so typically, the way it's done, there's 3 separate injections. There's a paralytic, paralysia. Barbiturate gives you basically like overdose of some sort of barbiturate, like heroin, right? So they give you something to stop your heart, and potassium solution, which it says that paralyzes, causes unconsciousness, and then causes the heart to stop, and breathing to cease. So the paralytic's supposed to stop the breathing anyway, and to stop suffering. This is the important thing, right? However, there have been instances where the condemned individuals have been injected with the paralytics and then a cardiac arrest-inducing agent while still conscious. And because they're paralysed, because they're paralytic, they can't move. So they sit there in agony, but they can't scream, they cannot in any way express... it's the worst torture ever. So they're lying there, they're passed out. Well, no, they are paralysed, so they can't open their eyes, they can't move, and they're being injected with all these things that are causing incredible pain, and their heart is slowing down, they can't breathe because they're paralysed, and they are aware of it all.
That sucks.
It's fucking horrible, right? It's equivalent to being like locked in a coffin and like just or drowning because your lungs stop taking in air because they're paralysed. Yeah, horrible idea, right? Proponents often say there is no reasonable or less cruel alternative, which is straight up bullshit. Opponents of lethal injection believe that it is not painless as practiced in the United States. They argue that the thiopental, which is the barbiturate they use, it's ultra short acting barbiturate that is known to wear off very, very quickly. There's a thing called anesthesia awareness, which could lead to consciousness and uncomfortable death, where the inmates are unable to express discomfort because they've been paralysed by the paralytic agent. It's also argued that the sodium thiopental's typical use as an induction agent and not in the maintenance phase of surgery because it's a short-acting nature. So it's supposed to, basically these things are all supposed to interact together, but because they drag them out, they give you the first thing, then they fuck about, do the next thing, then they fuck about. So by the time you're getting onto the final injection, the first one's worn off because it's incredibly short acting, because they don't really have it on a drip, and the person giving it, I'll get into this. So blah, 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 blah. I will read it because I was quite meticulous with this. Following the administration of the thiopental, pancuronium bromide, a paralytic agent, is given. So opponents argue that the pancuronium bromide not only dilutes the thiopental, but as it paralyses the inmate, also prevents the inmate from expressing any of the pain. Additional concerns have been raised over whether inmates are administered an appropriate amount of thiopental, owing to the rapid distribution of the drug out of the brain to other parts of the body. So even though it's spread about, but because it's not in your brain, you won't get the benefit of it. Additionally, opponents argue the method of administration is also flawed. They contend that because the person administering the lethal injection lacks expertise in anaesthesia, because they're a prison guard, they're not anaesthesiologists, right?
Yeah.
They don't know what the fuck they're doing. The risk of failure to induce unconsciousness is greatly increased. In reference to this issue, J. Chapman, the creator of the American method, say, "It never occurred to me when we set up this protocol that we'd have complete idiots administering the drugs." This is the guy that set it up in 1982. He set all the protocols in place for how to do it humanely, and then they said, "Okay, do that," and then they gave all these drugs to prison guards who were like just, don't know how the fuck to do it, right? Opponents further argue that the dose of sodium thiopental must be set for each individual patient and not restricted to a fixed protocol, because this guy set up like, use this much. But obviously if you're some 300-pound fucking ogre,
Yeah.
it doesn't. It's not going to touch the sides, mate. Or if you have a high tolerance to barbiturates because maybe you're a druggie or you've been in prison for all these years and you've been caning through prison heroin out your toilet. Anyway, finally, they contend that remote administration may result in an increased risk that insufficient amounts of lethal injection drugs enter the inmate's bloodstream. So, it's an incredibly complicated and incredibly flawed method, and that's always the thing that was like, this is bad. This is really bad because if you're going to all this effort, the only reason it should work is because, and also, right. In America, especially in America right now, fentanyl, right?
Right.
People overdose on fentanyl all the time. People have overdosed from touching fentanyl. That's how strong that shit is. It's like 1,000 times more powerful than heroin. It's insane how powerful that stuff is, right?
So I've heard of it, but yeah, I don't really know.
But basically it's like mega heroin, and they get like a fake. They use it as a that's the drug they gave Caroline when she was in labour.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, it's like they bring it in a suitcase with a padlock on it, and there's a guy watching it the whole time because it's so, like, this is some heavy shit. We don't want this getting away. So it's like, this is the heavy shit, right? Just give them a big old injection of that. Just get a bath of that. Just inject that right in their arm. They will go to La La Land, and everything will stop working, and they'll be fine. It will be painless, and it will be easy. They've created this incredibly complicated protocol, and I'm like, just pump them full of fentanyl. They will definitely die. They will definitely die. It will be humane. You've made it so complicated. I'm like, why? I don't know why you've done it. Because like people die of fentanyl overdoses. Like there's like 100,000 people die in America every year from fentanyl overdoses because it's so fucking powerful, and your body just if you're not used to it, just can't handle it. So I don't understand why they're making it so complicated. Anyway, so I'm still sticking with shooting.
Cool.
Boop them in the head. Boop. Anyway, carry on.
Let's talk about the ancient Greeks.
Thank God. Go on.
Oh, the ancient Greeks were the first people to write about unicorns. So all that time ago.
Because
yeah.
Well, the unicorns, they wings, sir. I remember they were riding.
Well, unicorns have been around for years. In fact, they were the first written about in ancient Greece in around 400 BCE. The first ever man to write about them was called Critias, and he was a Greek historian. Again, yeah. So the Greeks sort of wrote about them all originally. It does explain it later on, one of my other facts, but yeah, a unicorn with wings is basically a Pegasus. So you got a horse, you got a Pegasus, So when it was actually depicted,
it's like I keep dropping my phone. But honestly, I was going to say Pegasus, and I was like, my brain was like, hang on a minute, is that his name? Is his name Pegasus? I didn't want to sound like a dickhead, so I was like, no, don't say it. Like I'm going to embarrass myself by naming a unicorn.
His name was Gumdrops.
Gumdrops. There we go.
Gumdrop Smug.
I knew it.
Greek stain. Yeah, Greek stain or I don't know. I don't know.
Well, they were Greeks, so
Stavros.
Stavros Buttlord. There you go.
Stavros Buttlord.
I mean, we know how they got down.
Yeah.
I've seen 300.
And that's what the unicorn horn is for pegging. That's what it is.
it's called Pegasus.
Oh yeah, because Pegasus was the one who. Yeah.
Yes. I'm Pegasus.
That makes so much sense.
Mate,
now.
we have just decoded Greece.
Yeah. And you know what? You might have felt sad about your facts before, but now that you know about Pegasus,
yeah,
we're happy. We need to know about more death now.
Electrocution.
Oh yay! Woo!
Woo! Buzz.
Zap.
So, in the late 1870s to the early 1880s, the spread of the arc lightning, a type of outdoor street lighting that required high voltages in the range of 3,000 to 6,000 volts. That was starting to be used. It was followed by one story after another in newspapers about how high voltages were used that they were using were killing people. Usually unwary linemen, the guys who maintained and activated the lines one by one.
Yeah.
It was a strange new phenomenon that seemed to instantaneously strike a victim dead without leaving a mark. One of these accidents in Buffalo, New York, in August 7th, 1881, led to the inception of the electric chair. I'll tell you the incident. So that evening, a drunken dock worker named George Lemuel Smith was looking for the thrill of a tingling sensation he had noticed when grabbing the guardrail in a brush electric company arc lighting powerhouse. So he just like noticed it and went, "Ooh, give me the tingles." So he didn't understand that voltages can change, right? So he had a few drinks, and he managed to sneak his way back after a night out in the town, back into the plant at night, and grabbed the brush and ground of a large electric dynamo. So he earthed himself, and he died instantly. The coroner who investigated the case brought it up that year at a local Buffalo Scientific Society. Now, this is fucking the grim bit, right? This was going on at a time when there was a huge stray dog problem across the Northern Americans.
No, I'm not going to like this, am I?
You're not going to like this, right? So, there was stray dogs were a huge issue, not just in Buffalo, but across the whole North American continent, right? So, the Buffalo Scientific Society, the
BSS.
We'll say the BSS, or just the SS, because fuck, were authorised to use the dogs for testing. They ran trials with the dogs in water and out of water and varied the electrode type and placement until they come with as a repeatable method to euthanize animals using electricity. They did this over a number of years.
Pricks.
Southwick went on to the early 1880s to advocate that this method might be used as a more humane replacement for hanging in capital cases, coming to national attention when he published his errors in scientific journals in 1882 and 1883. He worked out calculations based on dog experiments trying to develop a scaled-up method that would work on humans. Early on in his designs adopted a modified version of the dental chair as a way to restrain the condemned, a device that from then on would be known as the electric chair. And that's literally because his test one, he just didn't have, he got a dental chair because he could put, dental chairs used to have restraints on them.
Oh, okay, yeah.
Because dentistry was fucked, and also painkillers wasn't a thing, so they needed you not to be fucking around. So they got like, oh, that chair's got restraints on it. It was just, there you go. So that's why electric chairs look like dental chairs. There's probably some weird psychology in that as well. Everyone's like, I hate going to dentists because they've got some weird, yeah. But anyway,
Saying that after last week when a bit of my tooth fell out.
yeah, you
And now I've got to go back for the appointment to have it taken out. So they're going to have to restrain me.
Yeah, they should restrain you. Well, no, they'll just give you the sweet shit and you'll be like, oh, it's fine.
They did say they can knock me out, but I'm scared. I don't want them to take sweet use
Just
of
give
my...
it, just numb you out. Give a fuck.
Yeah.
It's fine.
So,
You'll be fine, buddy. You'll be fine.
continue. Let's talk about dentistry chairs.
Where am I actually? After a load of botched hangings, the electric chair seemed like a novel and humane way to delete those who society deemed unsalvageable. The first execution by electric chair took place in 1890. Was William Kemmler.
Oh yeah, Ken.
Despite being successfully tested on a horse the day earlier, it did not go well. Now, actually, I read a biography of William Kemmler, just a brief Wikipedia biography. So William Kemmler, he killed his missus, right? So piece of shit. I'm not like but he went to trial and he's like, yeah, no, I did. He confessed straight away, and he was caught in the act. I don't know exactly how he did it. Sorry, I need a coffee. I need to wake up. What the fuck's going on? But he killed his missus and he repented and he was very sorry. He did all, he was genuinely repentant, and he just wanted to. He literally, I think his final statement was like, I just want to apologise to my, I can't remember, his Mary or whatever the fuck her name was.
Yeah.
Because like they were both, by all accounts, they were. Anyway, it doesn't matter. I'm not getting into it. I'm not gonna. He's a wife murderer. I'm not gonna. It was just like reading this thing, and his final statement, he was quite.
I'm sorry.
Oh no, he was very. It was very. What's the word? Repentant, and he was. He went in there and said, "Let's do this right, guys," because he knew it was the first time they were doing it. So let's do it right. I'm ready to go. But let's not run. There's no point rushing. Let's do it right, okay? I don't want to have to do this twice. I think he said.
Oh fucking hell!
So I was like, it was just and I was like, it was just. He was kind of a class act. You read his final statements. It was like, because it's very obviously incredibly well documented. All right. So despite successfully testing on a horse the day before, and it worked fine first time on a horse.
Did that horse have a hat?
The horse didn't have a hat. No, not again.
We'll sort that.
So. Despite working that, when they did it on William, it did not work as well. After 17 seconds at 1,000 volts, which is well under what was decided upon, he was declared dead. But then started breathing again. So they quickly increased to 2,000 volts and turned it back on. This caused blood vessels under his skin to rupture and bleed. Some witnesses claim his body caught fire. Many witnesses had to leave due to the smell. In total, it took 8 minutes.
Jesus.
This was still deemed successful enough to make the primary method across the states for the next 70 years.
Fucking hell.
As of 2024, electrocution remains an option in states like Alabama and Florida, where inmates may choose lethal injection.
So they get a choice then.
Well, they can choose that instead. Arkansas, Kentucky and Tennessee offer the electric chair to those sentenced before a certain date. So basically, like, if you were sentenced to death before this cut-off, then you still have the option of doing that. So they still have it as an option, but they're phasing it out. There's too many fuck-ups. Over the years, there's all these cases where if you don't get it just right, you don't kill them, or you just half kill them, and it's nasty. But that guy, I know I got into but it was pretty brief what I talked about. But yeah, he had a time. I think that's why I'm sort of a bit sympathetic, even though he killed his missus. I'm like, I know he fucked up. He's a bad guy. I'm not saying he's a bad guy, but it's like, hearing what he went through, how he died. It was just like, oh shit. I think anyone with any empathy would be like, oh man.
That just reminds me of Shawshank, where he did the sponge properly.
I think that's what it was based on.
That's a fucking horrific scene.
Yeah, no, but that's basically what happened.
Yeah.
He was on fire, and afterwards they said the electrodes on the skull cap, they carbonised the skin of his head. So his whole head was like black rock. It looked like, because they just, the contact points, there was so much electricity arcing through him. But I was like, fucking hell! Just shoot the prick, just boop, or bolt gun him. If you do that, just do it to cows. They have a humane way of doing it to cows, and just do that. I don't know. It just seems really fucked to me. There are ways to kill people that are pretty humane overall. But anyway,
do you want to know how to make people feel better? Hi there, I'm James from the Raging Horn Company. Have you ever been in a situation where you've been driving on the motorway on a wet and rainy day when some little prick decides to swerve and cut you up, but as you go to beat your horn, it sounds droopy and weak? If this sounds like you, then you need to get the Raging Horn to tug on and spaff away that rage. Our Raging Horn fits snugly on the roof of your car and has a pull cord to activate. So, your hand doesn't slip off when you're tugging away. There are two conveniently placed cylindrical dongles. So, tug on your balls and release your Raging Horn to unleash the sound of spaffing rage. Splooge! Raging Horn Company.
I do want to know how to make people feel better. Tell me.
Well, let me tell you about pharmacies sold powdered unicorn horns.
No, they didn't.
No, they did.
No, they didn't. No, they didn't.
So years ago, in the Middle Ages,
Yeah.
people believed that unicorns could be used for healing. They believed that unicorn horns would heal sickness and wounds, and even stop the effects of poison. In London pharmacies, powdered unicorn horns were sold until 1741 for aches and pains.
You know, you see people do dumb things like that, you know, and you think, like what we did with that sort of Sprite challenge and that sort of stupid shit, right?
Yeah.
And then you realise, there was a time that was, if you really look at it, it wasn't that long ago, really. And you look at your family tree, a couple of generations back.
Yeah.
And they were like, I'm going to pop down the pharmacy and get some unicorn horn for this rheumatoid arthritis I've got, because, God, it's achy. And they're like, yeah, I've never seen a unicorn, I've never heard of one existing, but I will trust this pharmacist to give me a powdered one to make into a poultice to rub on my elbows so they don't hurt like buggery anymore. And amazingly, they still do. Wow.
So in 1741,
yeah,
that's the earliest life hack. Oh yeah, life hack. Obviously, unicorns are very rare, so they would use walruses and rhino horns.
I mean, I'm impressed they went for horns at all. You think they just go for hoofs or like fingernails or just bits of grip? Because I mean, for all this, they know it's bullshit. They know it's bullshit. That's what I mean. Like, they are actively lying to people. So that's the thing. Like, you might be an idiot. You might go for it, fallen for it. People are lying to you in a way that's like so so fucking clearly they've lied to you. And I always just kind of find that just really, really strange that they did that knowingly. Bastards.
But is the earliest hack from TikTok.
Well, I mean, that was the original TikTok. That was when TikTok was literally ticks and talks rather than, an actual website or an app, You'd have to tick your own talk.
It was from my grandfather's clock, which is now called a grandfather clock.
My grandfather was always tick-tocking back in the day. he'd get one pouch of tick, mix it with his talk pad, and ride it into his pipe and smoke it. And then he'd laugh, he would, listening to all the life hacks his pipe would tell him. Then he'd give me a Werther's original.
I was going to say that was reminding me of an old advert.
Yeah.
But if these unicorn horns would heal things, can you sort of tell me something that would, it wouldn't work against some sort of punishment?
I feel like even the strongest unicorn horn balm, or poultice, or that's about reduction. I don't know what you do, like a jus. I don't know. Like, I don't know. I think that would struggle to be of much use to you in the gas chamber.
Oh dear.
Okay.
Nah.
Now, this is the darkest one because obviously the gas chamber is synonymous with Krusty the Clown and
Standard. Yeah.
Standard. Various death camps. Not just the Nazis. Everyone used to. A lot of death camps in the Second World War and afterwards actually as well. Russia was using gas chamber. People paid attention, and in the 50s and even the 60s, certain governments were using them in some situations. There was lots of ethnic cleansing all around the world, and it was just one way of going about it. Anyway, that's dark as fuck. But as a form of execution, and not... This is the distinction, right? Because this is not just killing people, this is killing people for crimes. This is, I'm executing you because you've been found guilty, and whereas what the Nazis did was not that. That was genocide, which is a different thing. So using a gas chamber to kill someone who's been found guilty of a crime is a very, very different thing. We can all agree on that. That's fucking different, right? Not because of race or any of this shit. It's like, no, you did some murdering and some rapes and whatever the fuck, right? You're a piece of shit, so we're going to gas you till you're dead. That's a very different proposition, and I feel like that we can put that in a different camp. Oh, fucking wrong choice of words.
Oh no.
Fucking hell, James, concentrate.
Sorry.
Sorry.
I'm trying to find the unicorns to heal that blunder.
And it's fucking sparkly magic to fix that. It's fucked it. Only ever used by the United States and Lithuania as standard capital punishment. First used in the United States in 2024.
Sorry?
The gas chamber has only been used in the last year, this year. They've just started using it.
I was going to say, that's, yeah.
Yeah, so the way they do it now is nitrogen hypoxia. It's been adopted since its first inception by Alabama, Louisiana, Mississippi, Oklahoma as a secondary method. The gas chamber in general is legal in Arizona, California, Missouri and Wyoming as a secondary method. The humane current nitrogen hypoxia and not the more brutal cyanide of prior years used by, reportedly by USSR and by other countries. But according to the US Chemical Safety and Hazards Investigation Board, in humans, breathing an oxygen deficient atmosphere can have serious and immediate effects, including unconsciousness after only 1 or 2 breaths. Now, the way this works, as I understand it, is that when we breathe normal air is mostly nitrogen anyway, right?
Yeah.
It's only 16% oxygen. But, crucially, we need that oxygen to be alive. So if you had an atmosphere that was more nitrogen and no oxygen or very little oxygen, you would not necessarily notice it.
Okay.
You would get lightheaded, you would pass out. I'll read the thing, but yeah, that's basically the way it's supposed to work. So it's humane in the sense that you don't feel like you're suffocating. Breathing an oxygen deficient atmosphere can have serious... I read a bit. The exposed person... the exposed person has no warning and cannot sense that the oxygen level is too low. We have no sense of how oxygenated the air we're breathing is. If there's no... we have... It's basically, you have a sense when you're breathing in... so you hold your breath, right? You start to freak out because you're your body can sense all the carbon dioxide from your excreted air that you've used up, right? So your body breathes in oxygen and nitrogen and breathes out carbon dioxide. So the carbon dioxide builds up, and then your body freaks out, and that's what that panic is when you're holding your breath, or you're in a room where it's sealed, for example, and you keep breathing out CO2, and your body freaks out. But when the CO2 is you're not breathing that in, your body doesn't know. You can't sense that there's no oxygen. All you can sense is the presence of CO2, not the absence of oxygen. So you have no sense that you're breathing. So they have no warning. There's no sense that oxygen level is too low. In the US, at least 80 people die from accidental nitrogen asphyxiation between 1992 and 2002. Hazards with inert gases and the risks of asphyxiation are very well established. Now, of all of these methods, that might be the tidiest and most humane I can think of.
So I just held my breath for quite a long time then.
You did. Yeah, it wasn't the point I was getting at, but you understand my point now. You were getting to that point where your brain goes like, you can't. You need to breathe, cunt. Breathe. That's what it's saying.
I've not done that for such a long time, and that little feeling at the end where you're like, I need to hold my breath more.
Yeah.
So, you fucking don't.
Yeah,
you need to breathe.
That panic. But I'm saying that panic, you don't feel it when there's not enough oxygen in the air and you're breathing in, but you're not. Basically, you can't sense the absence of something. You can only sense when there's something bad there. The human body's set up for that, so you don't have that panic. You just start to get lightheaded, you drift off, and after a while, apparently 1 or 2 breaths. Oh, sorry, that was a sip of the old Irish coffee. You start to slip away. You pass out very, very quickly. They say like within 30 seconds you pass out, and you start to feel the effects within 1 or 2 breaths, and then after a while your body you go through the normal suffocation that you already did, but without your body's not freaking out. Like suffocation is quite a painful thing. Your body's spasming, it's trying to find oxygen somewhere.
Yeah.
But that's because of the absence of CO2. It doesn't actually do that when there's no oxygen. You fall asleep, and eventually your body can't fuel itself with no oxygen, so it just wake up.
Didn't know that.
And that's like no chemicals, no injections. You just go in a room. You can read a book. Reading the book, you fall asleep. You wake up. I mean, honestly, of all the methods, it's still more complicated than just popping someone in the head with a gun.
Yeah.
But if you want to go humane and tidy, you can't really fault it.
No.
Yeah.
Well, wasn't that lovely?
I think that was actually borderline.
Yeah.
Could have been. I started with gas chamber, ended up with wasn't that lovely. Really, I feel like we couldn't have done much better. But let's see if your unicorns can come along and ruin it. Come on.
To start off with, unicorns don't have wings. This is what we were talking about earlier. So this was one of my facts.
Pegasus.
If you're trying to spot a unicorn, this might help. Unicorns don't have wings. If you see one with wings, there's probably a different mythical creature called a Pegasus. Oh yeah, like we said, discovered earlier, a Pegasus. Oh,
Pegasus.
Pegasus, gonna peg in his ass. What's this? What's this thing right here?
Weasel dog.
It's a dog. So it's a dog.
Yeah, sorry, dog.
When he's young, what is he called?
Poopy.
Poopy.
Yeah.
What have you got? You've also got Jeremy. Who's Jeremy?
It's a cat.
Now, what is Jeremy called when he's really young?
Little cat.
Little cat.
Kitten, right, yeah.
Okay, yeah. You got a unicorn. Jeff the unicorn.
What's baby unicorn called?
That's what I was going to... Do you know what baby... So...
I was reading the room. I feel like we're going that way. Can't tell me.
A bit like dogs are puppies and cats are kittens, did you know that a baby unicorn...
Go on.
...is named... a sparkle?
Oh, for fuck's sake.
I've seen a baby unicorn, a sparkles.
A little sparkle.
Yeah.
Oh my god, that is...
Yeah.
I'm sorry, they are super gay.
I did not.
They are super... it's a sign of virility and masculinity. It's a sign of rimming. It's super gay, man. It's called a sparkle.
Hey, Jerry, are we going to war? We got a unicorn on there. I'm a badge, my wee badge. It ain't gay.
Mate, these hard ass, fucking middle-aged, not middle ages Scots are running around basically watching My Little Pony. It's like, I'm Sparkle Sunshine. Oh, for Christ's sake.
My wee little Bonnie! Skinny and Bonnie! What was it?
It's Bonnie.
Oh, that's the thing I always used to sing. It's called My Little Pony, Skinny and Boney, sitting on the grass, licking his ass. And apparently that was one of the funniest things ever.
I mean, it wasn't not funny.
No.
Because back in the day...
Back in there, that was very clever.
it was
Very,
quite
very
clever.
clever. I have got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 more micro nuggets of unicorn things.
I got 4, so I'm going first. That's working out perfect.
Cool.
Alright. Mine are a bit smaller now because all the heavy shit's been done.
Yeah, mine are all quite small.
Alright.
And my facts.
Yeah.
Sorry.
But we know you're still, rocking a baby's arm, even after surgery.
No, not doing this again. This can't happen on Saturday.
It's been requested. It's going to keep happening.
Oh,
You shouldn't have reacted that way. So, but no, he's recovering well. He showed me. You can't even see the scars. Still, basically, it's crazy. He's got his own arms and legs. It's crazy.
Jesus Christ.
Yeah. It's decapitation though. All right. Now this is right up in the neck of the woods, right? Because obviously the most famous use of this is the French guillotine.
Really?
It's been a time-tested, brutal, but generally fast and trouble-free method. You can't really fuck up decapitation, right? Only currently used by Saudi Arabia, who have a big old curved sword they decapitate people with.
What? Still currently?
Still currently. These are all current methods of execution, all the ones I'm talking about. So they still, in Saudi Arabia, they'll go to public square and they'll cut someone's head off with the sword.
I've seen this thing on on television programs, things like not real life, but like a big guy like a Saracen sword, as like your head's on a block. Yeah, that sort of thing.
That was from a Bugs Bunny cartoon.
Okay.
But no, that is basically what they do.
Yeah.
I mean, like Hassan Shop is a Bugs Bunny cartoon, but
was
Hassan Wally
Leopold.
Offspring. And anyway, so yeah, but there's a country that still does it. Now, here's the sort of the argument for it. It's very simple. It's hard to fuck up. It's very quick. When done correctly, it's humane because it's pretty much like blinking, it's done. And it's got the element of spectacle, so it's a good incentive to not do crimes. When you see, like, I won't do those crimes because that guy got punished that way for doing crimes. I think if you saw someone get his head cut off,
yeah, it's not.
But yeah, it's considered quite a disrespectful form of execution. I think that's why there were so many of those videos, during the Iraq War and all that stuff. Every time they get hostages, they all the Taliban wanks. They just all that stuff, right? That's why it's like cut someone's head off it's a bit of a diss. It's not a respectable way to die, by their logic. But then it's like it's not a respectable way to die. But like I'll ask to live. I'll suck everyone here's dick. I would, I'm like respect isn't even entering my mind if it's the life death conversation. So I don't really care about that.
Yeah.
The fact that I'm even thinking about that is like what. It's like, oh, okay, well, you're going to give me a really hard way. I was like, I was going to punch you to death like a gentleman, but instead I'll cut you head off with a sword. I'm like, these are all bad. Like, I don't give a fuck about any of this, right? But anyway, rambling now. But Saudi Arabia, bunch of cunts. Anyway, move on. Sorry.
Unicorns have magical powers. It is believed that unicorns have magical powers. One of their main powers is to heal wounds. Again, this is linked to the other thing as well. With their power is meant to be located in their horn, the alcorn, which we learned about earlier. So again, that's where that comes from. But did you know the word unicorn comes from Latin?
Go on.
So lots of words come from Latin, including unicorn. Uni comes from anus. It's got accents on it, so it might be. I might be saying it a bit differently. Which means one, and corn, which means cornu, which means horn. There you go.
One horn.
One horn. That's all it means. Yeah.
I mean, I probably could have guessed that.
Could you?
Unicorn. I probably could have worked out one horn. Oh my god. Oh my god, that's Jason Bourne. I probably could have guessed that one.
Jason Unicorn.
Jason Unicorn.
That's got to be made.
AI's got to make that film. I want everyone else to say the same. I want Brian Cox still in it. I want everyone else to still in it as they were. But just he and no one addresses it. He's a fucking unicorn in every scene. He's like climbing down the outside wall of the embassy. He's like having these like fights in his room, but he's like knocking everything over with his horn. But no one addresses the fact that he's a fucking unicorn.
Nice.
And every now and then when he cuts around, he's frustrated. He's like, just like. Oof.
I like that.
Okay, AI. You have a very when you're up for it, give it a few years. It'll be good enough to do that. Mate, I think it won't be long. The way it's going, right? They'll be making AI movies on request. So I'd like to see a thriller with these actors in it where this happens. Could you? And that's what I want.
Yeah.
And I feel like that's going to happen. And I'll be like, I want the Jason Bourne trilogy. Just the first three. I don't want that like fourth one or the fucking spin-off, any other shit. I just want those three. Don't fuck about. And then I want him to be a unicorn. Fully animated, like massively cartoony. And rainbows are constantly shooting out of his ass. Make the film, and yeah, I love that.
That is going to be magical.
And they'll cut to like he's hiding in some fucking like in some like was it India or something where he was like hiding somewhere, and he's like got a weird hat on or something, but he's basically still a unicorn and no one notices it.
The most obviously he's a unicorn, but without being a unicorn.
Okay, so that was fun. Stoning.
Yeah, it did.
You'd think this would be some caveman backwards method, and it surely would be dead by now. But actually, it's still legal and practiced in a surprising amount of countries.
Okay.
Stoning people to death. There's lots of reasons for it, but I think a lot of it's tradition, to be honest. But also, it's the idea that it's like the. I think the reason it's popular from the governmental side of it is because it's traditional, and also it's the subjects that are basically doing the killing. So, yeah.
What do you mean by this? Sorry.
So stoning, right? You understand what stoning is?
Yeah, they all just throw the stones.
They throw rocks at someone, right? They have an area like and like, literally your quarry or something, and you have a person and they're restrained, and then everyone throws rocks at them until they're dead.
Yeah.
But the people throwing the rocks are those people that are wronged. Or it's a lot. I mean, obviously, this is a country. These are Middle Eastern countries where there's a lot to do with family honour and stuff. So you might have someone who they've honour killings. It might be for women or men or whatever. But like the people who have been wronged, or the family members who feel wronged they've been let down by that. So that they might be people throwing stones might well be related to the person they're throwing stones at. That's not uncommon.
No. Okay. See, that was the bit I didn't realise. I thought they've like got a group of people called the Stoners or something.
No. This is public. This is literally in the town square, and everyone comes together and they all contribute. And they don't obviously ever have to, but it is encouraged. The people who are throwing the stones, while it's regulated by the government, it's not the people who are throwing the stones are just the town folk.
Yeah.
And yeah, it's fucked. Anyway, so the countries where it's still practiced are Afghanistan, Brunei, Iran, Mauritania, northern Nigeria, Saudi Arabia, Sudan, and Yemen. Well, that's just to explain it. The victim is battered by stones thrown by a group of people. It is continued until the injuries lead to death, and then it's validated, and that's it. So obviously, of all the methods I've said, that's the only one where it's.
I think that's got to be a lot of stones, and there's got to be some really big chunky ones and some very accurate people that you'd need.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah. Do you want me to lighten you up? Well, it's not really. Narwhals.
No.
Oh, so we've done some sounds on that.
We should probably do.
But they sound nothing like that. You'd expect them.
I don't like the sound they actually have, though. I think I prefer my made-up sound.
Poor narwhals were also mistaken for unicorns, or at least passed off as them. Their tusks were sold as magical horns throughout the Middle Ages and the Renaissance. So that's another thing. So not only has it been rhinos, it's been like mistaken for, like using like pharmacies and things. Narwhals, they got their horns, but they look more like unicorn horns when you see like in pictures. But yeah, so narwhals were Which I still didn't realise until really looking into it with our podcast. I didn't even realise that narwhals are real.
Yeah, they're crazy. And they're less related to whales than I thought, actually. And obviously, we know the horns are just teeth,
Yeah.
which is really weird. Because you shouldn't have two sticking out your head.
No.
But you know, they make it work. I feel.
They go with it. They don't back away from it.
Dude, honestly, you know what's done more for narwhals than anything else?
What's that?
Futurama.
Yeah.
Yeah,
I've started watching that again.
it's great. It's a great show. New series. I'm just
Jason Bourne as a unicorn, apparently.
Jason Horn.
I should have put that down, but AI didn't sort of.
No, it would confuse AI. It's a pretty suave looking fucker though.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, I've watched those ones. The ones being released recently. It's actually Isla. When we were looking after them, and that come up when we was looking through programs. I said, there's a new season coming out now. I was like, oh my god, I forgot that was even a thing going on. So I watched it, yeah. It's quite fun.
Good shit, man.
Yeah.
Good shit.
Gotta make me sad.
Alright, so I'll tell you what, I've got a couple of tidbits. I'm going to do it all at once. I'll spaff up my last bit and you can do what you have to do. So, little factoid. UK capital punishment. When do you think capital punishment in the UK was abolished? So, firstly, it has been abolished in the UK. I should say that, right?
Yeah.
Because that's the first question, is right. It was still for regicide and I think treason.
Yeah.
It was still valid. And when do you think that was made illegal? Well, was no longer part of the government. Well, no longer part of law.
So I would have normally, before listening to what you've been saying, like late 1800s, I would have said about then, especially because I thought the only one that would have been in the UK was the whole regicide thing, against King, Queen, that sort of thing. That's the only one that I sort of knew was most recent. But I would have said late 1800s.
19.
Oh shit! Yeah.
90.
No.
8.
1998.
1998. That's when capital punishment was stopped as a part. Now the last execution in the UK was in the 60s. But it was still you could still execute people.
Yeah.
In this country, and what I'm going to do now is I'm going to just quickly do a little
sing song
curtain call for all the execution methods of the past that maybe I've covered before, maybe I haven't. I've got a few of the big ones. Execution by animal, that was a thing. We obviously know the big ones, chucking them, throwing them to the lions, throwing them to crocodiles, throwing them to sharks. Wild animals were kept just for execution purposes by rulers because they wanted the spectacle of it.
Yeah.
That was a thing. There's parts of Africa where they'll throw people in. This isn't really like enshrined in law, but there's certain places where they'll throw you to crocodiles. If you get away, then it's accepted that you're like, oh, you survived. So
I didn't know crocodiles was one.
What?
I didn't know crocodiles was one.
Yeah. Oh no, throw crocodiles. That's the thing. They have crocodile pits. Well, that's why with the swamps.
In the bayou.
So they'll throw you to shark infested water. Just chuck you in there. Obviously, we know like the old the walking the plank thing. That used to be a thing. They used to have people that walking the plank wasn't always walking the plank. Sometimes they hang you off the plank, and they'd have you hanging there, and they'd put chum in the water, and the sharks would jump out and grab you. It was pretty fun. Tearing apart by horses. Obviously, we know that one. Trampling by horses.
Yep.
Poena cuile, which is used during the Roman Empire. The victim was stuffed into a sack with a number of animals and thrown into a body of water. The animals would freak out because they're drowning, and they would bite you and sting you or whatever the fuck as you walked round. And crossing by an elephant, that was a thing they used to do in India. Asphyxia, which was obviously asphyxiating by strangulation. So sometimes it was done by a person, sometimes it was done by a rope. Obviously we've done hanging already, but premature burial, used for Vestal virgins who broke their vows. Right. They would bury you in a small. They give you food and stuff as well, just to keep you alive long enough for you to asphyxiate. By garrote in Spain and former Spanish colonies, and also the Philippines was a Spanish colony. They used to garrote people, and they would have you. So you'd be sitting in a chair, they have a garrote around your throat, which would tie to the chair, and they just tighten it, and you would just asphyxiate that way. My phone died.
Boo.
Boo. Hang on a sec.
That's by running out of battery.
My phone died. This was actually a page. Just thought it was cool. Oh. I still got it here. Motherfucker, I knew it was going to happen as well.
Do you want me to do my bits while you're searching?
Yeah, I'll give you some more horrible shit. I just thought we'd end on a high note, but I guess we're going to end on a...
Well, I've got two. So, the unicorn made an accidental appearance in the initial King James Version of the Bible, thanks to mistranslation of re-em, which scholars now believe referred to as wild ox. So, the first one of the Bibles, they mentioned unicorns, mistranslation. It's actually a wild ox.
So they must be real because they're in the Bible.
Yeah, and I'm sure they would have tried to get that wild ox's horn.
Yeah.
And smushed up.
Got my list up now. Go on, you finish yours. I'll give you some nasty, and then we'll leave it.
Yep. Alright, so not mobile phone, but texts dated back to the 14th century claimed that a unicorn could purify water with the touch of their horn, assuming that they could stop admiring their reflection long enough to do so. So that lovely high note that we're going to finish on, now let's shit on it.
Sweet. You sure you're all done?
Yeah, that's it. That's me done. Make me sad.
So we've done asphyxia.
Yeah.
Back breaking.
Oh, fuck's sake.
This was what it sounds like. It was done by the Mongolians. It was... ironically, it was done for royalty because there was a stipulation that you could never spill raw blood. So they would just roll you around and break your bones. Normally, I think they would do it over the edge of... It was like over a rock or something.
Oh, that's nice, son.
Blowing from a gun. So tying to the mouth of a cannon, which is then fired.
Oh, fucking hell.
Yep. Blood eagle. It's disputed whether that ever really happened, but it was documented by the Vikings when they... I think I went over this before. They basically cut open the skin of the back, spread the skin out, cut the individual not vertebrae, your ribs, and they pull them open from the back.
Fuck's sake.
So they splay the back of you. So you have wings made of bone and skin, and they try and do it in a way where you keep the life as long as possible. And you're left there with your back spread open as a blood eagle.
That sounds like a lot of work.
It is a lot of work. They did it. I used to watch Vikings. They actually did it in one episode.
Oh really?
It was like he was caught for some crimes, and they said they were going to just kill him, and they were like, he says, "No, I got to do this. I need to punish you properly, and also, it would be disrespectful to give you a quick out." And he's like, "Yeah, fair enough." And he just like fuck that. Boiling. Boiling in water, oil, tar, tallow, or even molten lead. Throw people in that. That was their thing that was done. The breaking wheel, known as the Catherine wheel, after Catherine was Alexandria, who was executed in this method. Which was, as it sounds, again, you've got a large wheel, you're tied to it, they roll the wheel back, and you're broken over the wheel as you're stretched over it. Burning, we know about witches and heretics being burnt on stakes, being burnt, covered in molten metal.
Oh no.
Marcus Licinius Crassus and Pavlo Pavlik were supposedly killed this way. The execution method is associated with counterfeits by pouring the molten metal down the lead, or traitors, which is when it's poured on the head. The brazen bull, I told you about that before. When you that giant bull, they put you in it and they put it over fire. Crushing rocks, any kind of weight. Disembowelment, dismemberment, drowning. We know what that's drawing and quartering, which that's only for high treason, and only England. Nothing else did that. Falling. They still do this. It's not part of law, but they still do this in a lot of in some Middle Eastern countries. But it tends to not be for laws. It tends to be for like honour killings, which are not stipulated in law necessarily. There are bits in Sharia law that not necessarily. They are supported by the government. They aren't necessarily part of the legislation of the government. So, for example, I assume you're aware, like if you're homosexual in certain Sharia law-led countries, it would be reasonable to take you top of a building and push you off.
Oh,
Whereas that's not necessarily the letter of the law. the law would not prosecute someone for doing that. That would not be a murder. That would be a religious honour killing. Because
Right.
maybe a father was embarrassed by his son, and it would dishonour the family to have him have a gay son, so you'd execute him because they're
Yeah.
sick fucks. Let's just be fair. Let's flaying, removal of one's skin,
Oh yeah.
impalement, keel hauling, European maritime punishment of dragging the victim against the barnacles of a ship. Have you a rope? They pull you underneath the underside of the boat. They pull you the other side.
Yeah.
They keep doing it until you're dead from all the drowning.
Oh.
And also, you get fucking shredded by the barnacles.
Yeah.
Poisoning. That was used for the methods of the nobles in a lot of European countries because, again, no blood was spilt. They'd poison you. That was considered a honourable way to kill someone of nobility. Sawing, practiced by sawing or cutting a victim in half, either sagittally or usually mid-sagittally or transversely. That basically means through the torso
Yeah.
or up down the middle.
No.
Don't do that.
Torso, all left to right every time.
Scaphism.
That doesn't sound anything nice.
An ancient Persian method of execution in which the condemned was placed between two boats,
Yeah.
force-fed a mixture of milk and honey, and then left floating in a stagnant pond. The victim would then suffer severe diarrhea, which would attract insects, which would burrow and nest in the victim, eventually causing the death from sepsis.
Jesus fucking Christ.
This is disputed historically, but I think it's probably happened at least a few times, because if you thought of it, you did it. I did that, again, that was covered in one of the previous ones I did. Slow slicing, I know I covered that one, that was a Chinese one.
Yeah.
And starvation. I mean, that's for the most part, that's what crucifixion was. They tie a crucifixion. Quite
Yeah.
often, you would either die from asphyxia because you can't support yourself and you get exhausted, but sometimes you would stand on the platform, you'd be tied up there, and you would starve. You'd dehydrate and you'd die from. You'd dehydrate and you'd starve. Gibbeting, the victim is placed in a cage hanging in a gallows-style structure, a public location, left to die. And he's basically, you must have seen that in films where they have like a cage and have a person, like a skeleton in a cage
Oh yeah.
above a door. They leave them on main paths, and they have a sign. It was a thief or he's a murderer or something, just so you know,
Yeah.
don't do it. And last one, immurement, the confinement of the victim by walling them in.
Oh.
They use it as a form of imprisonment for life, in which case the victim was usually fed, and they would just basically, you are in this underground box and we will put food through it, you'll never get out, you're literally walled in. So yeah, there was some, I think I covered this before, there was it was quite common for people who were trying to find religious, they would they would have themselves bricked in underground. I'm sure we covered this, and they just have food brought to them, and they'd stay down there for decades sometimes. And they had to have have a helper go with them, wouldn't they? They was little young girl or something. There's a woman went down there and is like, I've got a 13-year-old girl to help me out. You're like, help you out doing what? What you do is shit and piss and eat, and they're still bringing you food and water. You fucking idiot. You're getting no vitamin D. You just, I mean, what?
Does laundry.
It's just one of these things. It's like, you're not doing it off your own back. It only works because everyone's bringing you all these things you need to survive. It's such a pretentious and self, you're just sitting there going, stiffing your own farts, going literally, going I'm so special. God loves me so much. Just kiss, bare ends, mate, bare ends. Anyway, do you feel like we have ended on a sufficiently nasty note after all your levity and unicornation?
That was a pretty short and sharp ending from your side of things. But all you listeners at home, why don't you try this? Try to find a unicorn without blue or purple eyes. And if you can, please send us a picture at the Whiskey, Wine and Wisdom podcast and tag James and Dan.
Hashtag James and Dan at Whiskey, Wine and Wisdom podcast, unicorn challenge.com. And we'll raise a glass to you next time.
Cheers.
Cheers. Good night.
Good night. Thanks, bye, guy. Bye. That didn't come out right.
Do you want to try one more time?
Yeah, see you later. Cheers, bruv.
Cheers, bruv.
Oh my days. I have just found out this life hack which will change the way you do things forever. If you have a jar or something like that at home that needs to be opened, then you need to use this hack.
Go on.
If you explain to your friend, housemate or family member who lives with you about this hack,
Yeah.
and make sure you use the word hack at least 20 times whilst trying to explain what the hack is to opening the jar. They'll be so fed up of you saying the word hack without actually explaining what the hack is, then they will just open the fucking jar and tell you to shut the fuck up before walking away. That's what the hack is. And if they come back at a later point and ask you what the hack is, just look at them blankly in the face and keep mumbling the word hack, 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 hack. That is the hack, and I call it the hack. It is one of the biggest crazes going around on TikTok at the moment.
Hack.
Hack, 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 hack. Obey the hack.
Hack.
That's the hack.
That's the whole hack.
Hack.
You've been hacked. Oh no, it's dinner time, but there's no pasta. But you want pasta. What are you going to do? You need pasta gun. Pasta gun is a simple mechanism. You just insert an egg cartridge, a flour cartridge, turn the easy to use nozzle to pick the pasta of your choosing, and then just fire it straight into boiling water. Don't forget to salt your water. Don't forget the pasta face shield also for the splash damage from all the water firing. But then 4 minutes, maybe 7 minutes, 6.5. Just the right amount of minutes. The pasta's ready. You get it out al dente. You splash it on there, put on some sauce, whatever the fuck you want. Doesn't really matter. But then you got fresh pasta straight from gun to mouth. Don't be fusilli. Cover yourself in pasta and joy. Pasta gun makes you do a cum. Podcast 27 is complete.
But I want more.
Go home.
Okay.
Thank you, though. Thank you for listening.